I was in mood for something cheesy today, so that's why we are going to make a cheese stuffed pizza today. Let's start off by preparing a pizza dough. You would need 1 cup of warm water, half tablespoon of active yeast, 1 teaspoon of granulated sugar, half teaspoon of salt, 2 tablespoons of olive oil, and 2 cups of flour. We are going to take 1/4 cup of warm water and pour it into a bowl. After pouring the water, we will take 1 teaspoon of sugar and dissolve it into the water. Now take half tablespoon of active yeast and mix it into the water. Once you have mixed the yeast, set it aside and allow the yeast to bloom. This process will take around 5 minutes. Now I'm going to work with our dry ingredients. I have taken half teaspoon of salt and I'm going to mix it with the flour. After mixing the salt, I'll take 2 tablespoons of olive oil and add it to the flour and mix them. Now that the yeast has bloomed, we are going to add it to the flour. After adding the yeast, I'll add the water to the flour and then start kneading the dough. Remember, don't add all the water at once. You're supposed to use as much water as required. Knead the dough for 5 minutes and after kneading, put some olive oil on it. After applying the olive oil, knead the dough for a few more minutes. After you're done kneading it, shape your dough into a round ball and put it in the bowl. Now cover the bowl and allow the dough to rest for an hour or 2. While the dough rests, we are going to move on to our cheese filling. The ingredients that you need are half cup of milk, 1 tablespoon of butter at room temperature, and 1 cup of shredded processed cheese. You can use any cheese that you want except mozzarella because it won't give you the texture that we are looking for. Now boil some water in a pan and place an oven-proof dish on it. Once the dish is heated, we're going to start adding our ingredients to the dish. First I'm going to add the cheese and then add half cup of milk and a tablespoon of butter to the dish. Now whisk all these ingredients together until they form a smooth and nice texture. This is what the consistency of your cheese sauce should be. Whisk until it becomes nice and smooth. Now our cheese sauce is ready. Just look at how smooth and creamy it looks. So set it aside and let it cool for 5 minutes. Now that our pizza dough has risen and is well rested, we are going to take this dough out of the bowl and start kneading it. To knead the dough, instead of using flour, I have greased my board with olive oil and I'm going to knead it for 5 more minutes. After kneading the dough, shape it into a round ball and cut it into 4 pieces. We are cutting the dough in 4 equal pieces, as I'm going to use one of the piece right now to prepare my pizza, and other 3 I'm going to refrigerate for later. Now I'm going to shape our dough into a round circle before we begin to top our pizza. I'm going to shape it with my hands, but you can even use a rolling pin to do so. Now that we have rolled our dough, we are going to transfer it nicely on our baking tray. I'm forming some edges around the baking tray so that it's easier for our pizza to hold the cheese sauce in. Now I'm going to put the cheese sauce on the pizza dough. I'm going to use half of this cheese sauce and use other for later. But if you want really cheesy pizza, go ahead and use the entire bowl. After applying the cheese sauce, I'm taking a tortilla wrap and I'm going to place it over the pizza, and I'm going to nicely seal it in with the edges of the pizza dough. Now I'm applying pizza sauce over our pizza. I'm using a ready-made pizza sauce, but you can even go for a homemade pizza sauce. I'm going to top this pizza off with some capsicums. After that, I'm going to use some onions as a topping and mushrooms. I'm using canned mushrooms for my pizza, but I would recommend that if you could find fresh mushrooms, go for fresh ones because they taste really good. I couldn't find them, so therefore I'm using canned mushrooms. So for this recipe, I'm using red jalapeños for the toppings of this pizza because I really like them, but if you like green ones, please go ahead and use those. Now finally, I'm going to put 1 cup of shredded mozzarella cheese over my pizza. You can use even more because I really love my pizza really cheesy, so I might add a little more of it. Now preheat your oven at 350 degrees and pop in your pizza for around 15 to 20 minutes. So after 15 minutes, this pizza is ready to be served. I'm going to dig in, and I hope you like this recipe. And if you did, please share it, like it, and subscribe to my channel.